Welcome everybody to episode number 5 of the Per Sources Show. As always, I'm Nick Armitage, joined by Brendan Reese and Brendan.
How are we doing, everyone? We are back. I know it's
back.
been a while. It's been since summer, but we got a lot to talk about today, and we're excited. Let's get it going. What do we got today? What are we talking about?
Well, the NFL season has just ended. It was a great year. We got the wild card weekend coming up.
Yeah, and
Could be the best weekend in sports. I think so.
you know, it's the best because there's the most playoff games. It's in playoff football in the NFL is the best time of the season. It's just there's no debate.
We both agree. The NFL is just the best sport.
It is.
You really can't beat it. It's
It's too good because on any given Sunday, and it's become true. But before we start our takes on the wild card games, what a season it was. Seriously, I mean, Drew Brees breaking 2 of the biggest records in quarterback history at the age of 39. I mean, and having the best record in the NFL. It's ridiculous. I mean, we're seeing that these quarterbacks, the older they get, the better they are. I mean, you see all of them: Rodgers, Brees, Brady, all of the above. And then Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, super young, 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. It's remarkable. But,
nobody expected him to do what he's done this year. It's been a really impressive year for him and the Chiefs.
It's only the third quarterback to ever throw 50 touchdowns in a season, and that's it's pretty special. So we're lucky we got to witness it. So let's get to the first game. We got Indy at Houston. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's going to be a really good game. Obviously, the Colts are a team that's riding high. That was a big road win against the Titans.
Yeah, huge.
So I think they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. I really think that they could do some damage. But going on the road in the playoffs is always very tough, especially against a divisional opponent. Deshaun Watson's had a really underrated year. I think he's done, really well for the Texans, and they kind of have a balanced offense and a solid defense. I think that it's going to be really close. I'm not ready yet to put the Colts over the top. Maybe next year. They got $100 million in cap room. They have a couple of draft picks, a first rounder, a couple of second rounders.
Really promising running back. Maybe we could see something special out of him.
Yeah, I just don't know. I'm going to take the Texans 27-24 in a great game.
Yeah.
Game-winning field goal by the Texans to send them through to Foxborough.
All right, well, I couldn't disagree on a lot of that. But I'm going to take Indy. I mean, Houston's a 1-point favorite, but I'm going to take them on a 31-24 type of game. I just think 9-1 the last 10 games. Andrew Luck.
Is that true? 9-1?
9-1 the last 10 games.
Wow, that's
crazy. They're on fire. And starting out, I think they were 0-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Just looked
I think they were 1-5 at one point.
1-5.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many times it's been done, but probably not a lot. I just think, Andrew Luck's good. I'm not the biggest fan, but he throws a damn good ball, and I just don't see how Deshaun's going to slow him down. But I will give you this. I'm not a big believer in mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, but what Deshaun's doing is ridiculous. 26 touchdowns, I think 9 interceptions this year. It's pretty remarkable. But I'm going to take Indy just because they're so hot. All right, let's get to the next game. We got Seattle at Dallas. Now, this is going to be the best game of the weekend, in my opinion, because it's just Dallas.
Speaking of hot teams, Seattle's just riding in. They just beat the Chiefs at home on a Sunday night game. That was a big win for them. For momentum reasons, just for confidence reasons. Look, again, if Seattle was playing a different team, I can't go against the Cowboys at Jerry World. There just seems to be something that goes on in that stadium where the Cowboys cannot lose. I mean, they beat the Saints there. They beat a lot of good teams there. And it just seems like everything kind of goes their way there. I'm not saying that Jerry Jones is paying rest, but I'm definitely saying that Jerry Jones is paying off the rest.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yes. I mean, I got to be honest. Yeah, you're right. I think there's something about Dallas at home. It's just... Yeah. But, here's the problem. Dak has to have a certain way to win the game, and that's Zeke running for over 100 yards, maybe 120
if he
yards.
doesn't rush for 100 yards,
the defense is stellar. I'll give you that. It's a top 5 defense, maybe top 3.
Leighton Vander Esch,
their linebackers are absurd.
Yeah.
So, they could go in and disrupt in the playoffs, but as only a 1-point favorite, I still got to take Seattle. I mean, it's Russell Wilson, top-tier quarterback. In my opinion, he's 3rd or 4th best in the league, depending if, you want to take Rodgers over him, but that's up for grabs.
Yeah.
I just don't see Seattle losing the first round. I know they haven't been to the playoffs in a while, but I can see Seattle going to NFC Championship. I just don't know. It's just Dallas at home, which is what's making me, which is such a tough decision.
Yeah, I think it's a tough call for me. I'm going to take Dallas just because they're at home, but you cannot discredit Russell Wilson and that streaking Seahawks team.
Another mobile quarterback or semi-mobile, which is just.
Yeah, but he's thrown some dimes recently.
He's playing.
And, he's playing out of his mind. And they have Chris Carson. They have a better run game. Their offensive line's playing a lot better.
Yeah, I think Doug Baldwin's getting healthy, so it should be all good. All right, third game on Sunday. We got the Chargers at Baltimore. Pretty interesting game. I feel like 3 weeks ago everyone was going to be like, Chargers are best team in the NFL. And for a lot of analysts, people say they're the best roster in the NFL. But go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers in this one. Out of all the Chargers games I've seen this year, they seem to play the best on the road, which I find to be a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
Partly because they don't have a great home field advantage. They're playing in essentially a soccer stadium. They basically, the opponent's team's fans come in and they run that stadium, which is pretty sad for them because they're a pretty good team this year.
Really good.
When we look at their games on the road, you see that they got to win against the Steelers. They got to win against Kansas City. They come from behind wins.
Huge wins.
And it just seems like that kind of storybook year where they can do a lot of damage. I know they haven't been playing as good recently. They lost to Baltimore at home. But I think they're going to correct those mistakes they made in that game. Now they have some film on Lamar Jackson. They know how to play against him. And they're going to go on the road and win that game 24-17.
24-17. That's pretty accurate. I'm going to go with the Ravens this week. What a story. Before I start, what a story about Lamar Jackson. Unbelievable. I just saw that video of that guy in high school where he juked that one defender, and I didn't know that was Lamar Jackson.
That was really
I
when
did
he
not
got
know that was
famous.
Lamar Jackson. And
Back in the
yeah,
Vine
what a
days.
story. He was so dominant at Louisville, was up for Heisman, won the Heisman, I think was up the second year after that. He's just remarkable, and, my idea of mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, it's not the best, but, he's just another one that keeps proving that it can happen. I'm going to take Baltimore. I think they're too good at home. They do have the best defense in the league right now. And, why not ride with Lamar? He's just playing really well. And I am not a Philip Rivers fan. I'm a fan of his personality. I think he's a great guy, but not on the field. I just think he's just a glorified Romo, in my opinion. He'll be that guy to make a 2-minute interception pick, going down the field to win the game. So I'm taking Baltimore, and I think they'll win 27-13.
Wow, not even close.
Yeah, not even close. I think they're going to kill him.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. All right, for the last game, sneaky game. We got Foles in Philly against Chicago. What do you...
Look,
this is going to be a tough one.
Speaking again of hot teams, that seems to be the story. Hot teams going in on the road. And look, it seems like it could be the kind of year, if Foles is healthy, that they could have another storybook run in it.
Is this a fluke? Is the whole Foles thing, before we finish our picks, is this a fluke or is this for real? Is Foles better for Philly than Wentz?
Foles is absolutely better for Philly. Look,
I have to agree.
he completed 25 passes in a row last week. I don't think that's a fluke at all. Their offense runs better with him. He completes more passes, and it gets them in rhythm. They can establish the run game. You saw it. Their defensive end, Long. He had a shrine for Nick Foles because of what it did for him last year.
It's unbelievable.
I just think that they really know how to play with Foles. Their offense runs better with Foles. And I'm not saying Carson Wentz isn't a good quarterback. He's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
And, he led them a long way last year. But I just think right now, Foles is just doing more for him.
Yeah, I have to agree. What's the one injury that just haunts NFL quarterbacks for their careers?
The ACL. They never return.
And you know what? It happens to a lot of guys. It didn't happen to Brady, obviously, in 09 or whatever. And it didn't haunt, who's the other one? There was someone else. I'll think about it. But, Deshaun Watson, clearly after this year. But, this could be haunting for Carson Wentz. For quarterbacks, I feel like once they have that injury, there's, it's in the back of their mind every snap they take as a quarterback.
I think,
and it's true. You don't know. Carson Wentz just wasn't running the offense as well as Foles this year, and you don't know if that's going to stick or not. And I don't think it.
He clearly wasn't healthy. I don't think Carson Wentz was.
Yeah,
was
I also
at 100%,
don't think he was
at 100% yet, and he was pushing it. And I think the team kind of sensed that, and they came out pretty sluggish in some games. They got killed by the Saints.
Yeah.
Lost to the Cowboys at home.
So who are you taking, Philly or Chicago?
I'm taking Chicago. Look, I'm a big Chicago guy this year. I really think they have what it takes. I think the one thing that's holding them back is their quarterback. I don't think Mitch Trubisky is ready for this stage yet. But their defense is one of the better defenses we've seen in the last 10 years. They are reminiscent of the Seahawks Legion of Boom type of defense, where they can go out there and single-handedly win you a game. They're loaded.
Jackson,
they're loaded at every position.
It's unbelievable.
They don't have a weakness in the defensive, at their defense at all. And look, their offense isn't bad at all either. You have Jordan Howard, who's a solid running back. They have a good offensive line. They have decent receivers.
But I think Khalil Mack's just gonna haunt Foles. I think he's just gonna haunt Foles. I just think the defense is too good.
I think so too. I think Philly comes in there, they give it a good ride, but in the end, I'm taking a defense. I'm taking a defense at home. We saw what happened to the Rams there. I'm taking the Bears.
Yeah.
I'll take them
5.5 favorite.
I'll take them 24 to 16.
Yeah, that's a good score prediction too. I mean, I was taking Philly all week because I'm like, you can't not trust Foles. He's just gonna, he can make this run again. Like everyone said, don't forget about the Eagles last year, and then clearly, he took that too seriously, and they won the Super Bowl. But this year it's just different. I think there's just too much turmoil. And
look, also one of the differences is last year they had the first seed. They were at home. Now they have to play all their games on the road. I just don't see them. It could happen. I could be totally wrong.
Yeah,
but
you don't know. I mean, they could go to shot. I mean, the Bears. When's the last time the Bears won the playoffs?
Exactly. How do we trust Trubisky as a quarterback? He could totally lay an egg, which I'm somewhat expecting.
And I don't even think. I mean, Trubisky. All he has to do is just not turn the ball over. That's all he has to do, and they win the game. It doesn't matter how well Philly plays. Their defense, Chicago's defense is too good. They're just too much of a force. So I'm going to take Chicago. I was taking Philly all week just because they're a sneaky team, sleeper team, but.
I just think being on the road is too much for them at this point in the season. Chicago's a tough place to play on. I'm taking Chicago.
All right, let's move away from the wild card games. Now you got our picks. We'll see how that plays out this weekend. But let's move away. Super Bowl favorites. Let's just get to it. I mean, let's talk about the teams that aren't in the wild card division. Wild card weekend. Patriots, Saints, Rams, and the Chiefs. I mean, what do you think about the NFC? What do you think about the NFC?
As a Saints fan, I believe we're going to go to the Super Bowl because we have the 1 seed. It comes to the Superdome.
Fire.
I just think that we're the most well-rounded team.
Not a lot of holes.
I think the Rams' defense is a little bit suspect. I think their receiving core is now a little bit suspect.
I think their inexperience is...
They're getting banged up a little bit.
You can see it.
Yeah. And I just feel like it's the Saints' year to make the Super Bowl. It was the same exact thing in 2009. We lost to the... Carolina Panthers, lost to the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Same thing happened this year. Finished 13-3 both years, 1 seed both years, and we went to the Super Bowl and won it all versus the Colts. I just feel like it has the making of that same team, and I hope to God that we don't blow it in the first round.
There's always that first round curse or whatever they want to call it. And it happens.
There is
I don't think
I
don't believe in it. It's just that thing analysts say, for sources, whatever. I don't think it's true.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it when it's...
Philly was the 1 seed last year. They went all the way.
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time. Losing the AFC Championship is a different story. Those are the two most real teams, or the top 4 best teams in the league. Anything could happen on championship weekend, but I don't believe in it either, and I think the Saints are on fire. I agree. I don't think the Rams are ready yet. I think there's too much star power, literally. I just think, just the whole Hollywood thing. I just don't think the Rams are ready yet. Give it a couple more years.
Yeah.
If you have a Rusty Gurley, he'll be back. He's got 2 weeks to get ready to go. But, I just don't... I can't trust the Rams right now, especially if... Well, who would they play? Seattle.
The Rams would play the Bears if the Bears won.
No, they would play...
no, they would play the Bears.
They would play the Bears.
Yeah.
You're right. So...
And my pick is that the Bears are going to beat LA.
And
That's my pick.
You just don't know.
I have the Bears and the Saints in the NFC Championship. But answer me this. Who's the best quarterback right now in the NFC playoffs?
Drew Brees.
Who's the best quarterback?
Not even close.
Who's the best quarterback in the AFC playoffs?
That's not even close either. It's Tom Brady. So, are we gonna get it? All right, let's talk about the AFC before we get to the Super Bowl. But I mean, Brady. They found it. Patriots found their way. I mean, everyone was against them all year. They're 11-5. It's their worst season. Oh wow, 11-5. Teams wish to be 10-6. So, they found a way to get their bye. They're the only team that's undefeated this year against playoff teams. So, just look at the stats.
I think that's a huge stat.
They're going to be
The stat
fine.
is the Saints have the best record in the NFC against other playoff teams, and the Patriots do. The Patriots are 4-0, the Saints are 3-1.
You can't trust Andy Reid down the stretch. You just can't.
Well,
He's
you can't
never
trust the
proven
Chiefs
himself.
in general. They haven't won since '94. I don't get how you can say, look, they have Mahomes, they have an amazing offense. They could have the best team in football. But how do you go out and trust the Kansas City Chiefs, who have blown it at every single opportunity that they've had? I just don't trust them. And even if they do win their divisional round game, I still don't. I still see the Patriots coming in and beating them in the AFC Championship. I really do.
It's just too good. He's too good in the playoffs. Luckily, it's their regular season. This is the Patriots Invitational basically. I mean they're gonna go in and they're gonna do their thing. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about the whole Gronk stuff, how he's always injured.
The Patriots are already in the AFC Championship game.
They're going to breeze into it.
If the Patriots lose in the divisional round, this show is over. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
You can't. The Texans are not going to go into Foxborough and beat them. It's just not going to happen.
Well, we never got our LeBron Kobe in finals, but could we see our Brady Brees Super Bowl? I mean, we could see it. I mean, because
that's my best bet.
You know, we never saw obviously a Peyton Tom, but we couldn't have. But we could finally see a top 2
We've been waiting for this
thing
for
going
years.
on. You know,
I
we see
really
the
do.
LeBron KD, but you know, that's
I do
different.
think that the Patriots and the Saints are the 2 most well-rounded teams in terms of having elite quarterbacks, solid defenses, and just overall explosive offenses that have home field advantage and amazing coaches. And I just feel like overall those are the 2 teams where you have to pick them to go through all the way, especially with buys.
Exactly. All right, well, we'll see what goes on this weekend. Remember, stay tuned, and we're excited to see what happens. Let's move on to a little bit of basketball. You know, obviously LeBron James.
NBA talk. Here we go.
Greatest of all time. LeBron James. Obviously, LeBron. But he said he was the greatest of all time earlier this week. And
I don't see any lies.
Yeah, what do you take on that?
I see a man that knows he's the greatest of all time. He's going to say it.
I
couldn't
agree more.
All these people want to say that Jordan never said it. Who cares?
Yeah. I don't feel bad for Magic. I don't feel bad for Kareem. I don't feel bad for any of these good players that play in the NBA. You know, when they weren't even close to the best. I'm happy LeBron said it. You know, one day I'm waiting for Tom to just be like, I'm the best. Stop comparing me to Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I don't find any problem with LeBron saying this, and it's true. That 2016 Finals was the greatest performance. You know, you can almost say in sports history. You know, you got the Tom Brady 23.
Okay,
He's got a ton of stuff, but it's true.
Let me give you some stats here. Brendan, how many times did the Warriors lose in the entire year at home?
That season?
Twice. In 2016. Twice the entire year, including the playoffs.
So, yeah.
Cleveland Cavaliers were down 3-1. They had to not only win the next 3 games, they had to win twice
2 in Golden State
in a row,
and in Game 7, which is one of the hardest things to do ever.
If that doesn't, if you're not the GOAT, then
I don't feel bad for any of those greats. I don't feel bad for analysts. I don't feel bad. I think it's great for the NBA. And now more teams going to want to go to LeBron. It just shows that we get to see the real Lakers. We're going to see the real Lakers this year. They could be back. I mean, it's just I'm excited for it, and I don't have any problem with LeBron saying he's the GOAT. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be good. All right, playoffs just began on Saturday. Let's just talk about how once again the NCAA CFP committee failed with Notre Dame. I mean, what a joke of a playoff weekend it was.
Brian Kelly sucks. You hear that Brian Kelly's rumor for the Buccaneers job?
Nice.
That could be the most Tampa Bay Buccaneers head coach hire of all time.
They are such a dumpster fire organization. They have been so bad for years.
They will never be good.
In fact, you want to get Brian Kelly. Okay, let's actually solely focus in on Notre Dame. What makes Notre Dame more eligible than a team like UCF? Oh, they played Stanford. They're not in a conference. They didn't have to play a conference championship. Neither did UCF. And UCF almost just beat an SEC team yesterday.
Well,
you don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just making a point. You don't know.
I disagree there. UCF is a fraud. We both.
I know.
Notre Dame is one level of fraud. UCF is at a whole other level of fraud. UCF
guess.
plays nobodies. Look, LSU had their whole entire second defense out there. They had 8 starters missing. They had 2 who got out in the game. I get that UCF had their backup quarterback in, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Their whole team was out, and they didn't beat them. At the end of the day, Bama would have beat them by 60 points.
Yeah,
Come on.
70.
Who are we kidding here?
And,
Notre Dame is fraud. UCF is a whole other level, just complete fraudulent.
And speaking of who are we kidding, Alabama 28-0 to start the first 17 minutes of the game. Yeah, that was Oklahoma. Just stop. Just come on.
Kyler Murray needs to go to baseball. He needs to play baseball. Dude, he's undersized. He's just not that good of a quarterback.
Not that good of a quarterback.
In the NFL, what is he going to do?
Nothing.
He needs to go play baseball.
He's give me a break. Don't start comparing me to short quarterbacks being successful. So, great playoffs. And let's talk about the championship. I mean, yesterday I heard a bunch of analysts saying they're going to take Clemson. Colin Cowherd, Clemson, putting my 401k on it. It's on his Twitter. It's a joke. No one's beating Alabama.
No.
I mean, come on. They're so
No,
stacked.
we saw enough from Tua last game to know that he's healthy enough to win it.
And
the ankle looked fine. He was throwing dimes as always. They have, of course, the greatest of all time, Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah.
They have some unbelievable receivers there. Like you said during the semifinals, we were watching it together. He said it's just a track meet out there.
Yeah.
You can't cover them when you have players that are just
and they don't drop balls. They just don't drop footballs. So
Saban's mastered that in terms of he recruits guys that are just unbelievably fast. He probably just goes into the track meets and goes, that guy, I'm gonna teach him how to catch a football. That's what he does.
He's amazing.
And no one has been able to stop it.
I just think it's going to be, I'm going to the game. It's going to be great. Clemson's a good team. Don't get me wrong. Their defense is amazing.
It will be the closest game of the year.
They're just too much of a powerhouse. They have talent everywhere, Alabama. And they don't play bad football. They haven't played bad football all year. Okay, half.
They played
one
half against Georgia.
The Georgia game, they're a little rusty. But Tua went out in the fifth play. I mean, it's like, come on. But, yeah, I'm taking Alabama this weekend, cover the spread.
I'm taking Alabama to cover the spread.
I think it's going to be a great game. Trevor Lawrence is good. He looks like,
What's the spread, 5.5?
I think it's like 5.5, 6 or something like that.
I'm taking Bama by a touchdown.
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a video game player. I just
is he a human being? I don't think he's an actual person.
I mean, we'll see what happens, but I got Bama. Another championship for Saban.
How do you
That's
not have
sixth.
Bama? I want to know who doesn't have Bama.
Yeah,
they're gonna go undefeated. It's Alabama.
Just to refresh the
They have one of their best QBs that they've ever had,
and
the same good team and the same best coach of college football history.
Exactly. And they are, if they win this year, that is 6 out of 10 years. Just put that in perspective. In one decade, Alabama wins.
Beyond a dynasty.
Oh, and don't forget, they just had their best recruiting class of all time for next year. So, I mean, this powerhouse isn't going to stop. And I also want to talk about last night's Sugar Bowl. I mean, what a joke of a performance by Georgia. Don't talk smack that you didn't get into the playoff, and don't give an excuse that you didn't want to be at that game last night. It's just you weren't that good. And no, you can't beat Alabama. Even at Alabama's worst. Last year in the national championship, just so bad. This year in the SEC championship, and you guys were playing at your best, you still couldn't beat Alabama. You're not that good. Jake Fromm, you're kind of a fraud. Kirby Smart, you just can't beat Saban.
Georgia lost by like 30 points to LSU.
Yeah.
Okay, LSU wasn't even in the conversation. Yeah. Bama beat them by 30 points too.
No points on the board.
Look, it's just Georgia. They're a good team. Are they the 5th best team in the country? Maybe. It's close. They deserve to be in the playoff.
If they play well, maybe.
Maybe are they better than Notre Dame? Sure.
Who
cares though?
They're better than Notre Dame. And now all these analysts are now really tired of having Alabama and Clemson every year. Go ahead, make an 18 playoff. Go ahead. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead, make an 18 playoff, please. Who's going to be in the championship? Alabama and Clemson. It's
every time, yeah.
Every single time.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop getting Alabama in the national championship. They're too good. Saban is too smart.
Yeah.
So, that's a good wrap for the national championship.
Yeah,
it's college football. It's just good. Well, I mean, what else? You got anything else you want to talk about?
I think we should start off with our awards for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
We got a couple of
so we got
awards
something new
start
coming on the Per Sources show that I want to talk about.
The greatest ever. Awards. The greatest of all time.
Well, first is the LeBron is the GOAT. Second, well, he's the GOAT. I mean, he's the GOAT. There you go. He won. Most irrelevant player of the week. Who do you got? NBA. Our nominees, by the way, were Damian Lillard, DeMar DeRozan, and Kemba Walker.
It's a tough one.
It's
really tough because there are some irrelevant players that's careers just mean absolutely nothing.
They're the worst. Who cares about
today? I'm gonna go with DeMar DeRozan. Okay, he's my typical favorite. DeMar DeRozan's career means absolutely nothing. The guy is owned by LeBron James. He cannot get past him, and it'll happen again this year. I guarantee it. DeMar DeRozan left the East thinking, oh, he's finally going to get away from LeBron. Oh, I might finally have a chance. And LeBron's going to meet him again in the playoffs, and he's going to beat him.
And does anyone care about the Spurs? Who cares about San Antonio?
The Spurs suck.
They're so
the franchise
bad.
is terrible right
Who is
now.
DeMarcus Aldridge?
He's not. Talk about irrelevant players, DeMarcus Aldridge. DeMar DeRozan will never win. That is why he's irrelevant. He is owned by LeBron James. You should just give up. Stop playing in the NBA. Why are you still playing? There's no point in your career. Your take.
I agree. It's DeMar DeRozan. He's.
You gotta go with someone different, though, don't you?
I mean, fine.
It
is DeMar DeRozan, but the most irrelevant player in the NBA is Damian Lillard. He plays for the Portland Trailblazers. Every day I see on NBA Twitter, oh, he had a pass, nice dish. I don't care. Are they beating the Warriors?
Are you Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson?
Or LeBron James?
No.
Or Kevin Durant? No, you're not. You're not any of them, and you're never gonna win ever in the history of the game. You will never win a championship. So stop playing basketball. That's all I'm going to say.
They can be relevant when they win, which will be never.
Never.
So why are we saying that they're relevant? Why do we pretend that they matter? Why? Why does it? We should just stop pretending. Like the players that matter in this league are
LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay
Klay
Thompson.
Thompson.
That's it.
And
That's
maybe
it.
Draymond Green. Maybe.
Maybe Draymond Green, whatever he says. Whatever he says that week. So yeah, I mean, that's our first award for the week. Our second award that will be coming on daily on the show, or weekly, is the USC Scrub of the Week. So if you are an NFL fan, you would have seen that Juju Smith-Schuster, USC wideout, and Adoree Jackson, USC special teams player,
And cornerback.
both blew their season win-or-go-home games for their teams. Juju Smith-Schuster driving down the field, Big Ben classic comeback, kind of classic, not really. Fumbled the ball, decided to try and stay up, which always leads to something bad, and it did, and he never learned. So him or Adoree, who decided to try and catch a ball that was going out of bounds and then just dropped it, and the Colts got the ball on the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
So who do you got?
We could talk about one of those two, or we could talk about Sam Darnold, who just sucks.
Or
Sam Darnold is a bad quarterback.
Actually,
and I don't get what people think that he's the second coming of Jesus Christ. Sam
so
Darnold is a bad quarterback. He never will be good.
By the way,
no USC quarterbacks are ever good. Can we just get that out there?
Johnny
USC
Booty.
players
Who is Johnny
suck.
Booty? Mark Sanchez ran into someone's ass on a football field. Sam Darnold.
That's what Mark Sanchez is known for. Run into someone's butt on a field.
Oh, Matt Barkley. Forgot about Matt Barkley. He's really good.
Really good.
And then don't forget Cody Kessler.
Wow.
Unreal. Started a half of a game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, yeah, it's all of them probably. It's probably all of them.
Okay, but if we're gonna
for this
decide
week,
between
it's
one of
got to
the
be
two.
Juju. It's got to be Juju. He literally blew the game in the fourth quarter.
I'm taking Juju. I'm taking Juju because he totally blew that one. He can do his dancing, whatever, at home on the couch.
I actually hate.
He's a scrub.
I also hate USC. Worse.
If we haven't already made that clear, we hate USC. USC quarterbacks all suck.
Okay, one of our favorites, our most hated athlete in the history of the world is Kevin Durant. I think that goes for every single human being on the earth, except if you live in NorCal, if you root for the Warriors. But of course you do because you have nothing else to do. What did he say this week? What stupid thing did Kevin Durant say this week? Oh, I know. He said, "I'm just too damn good at basketball. That's why they hate me."
It's
well, it could be that. But
it's like
not.
he tries to get people to, hate him even more. It's like he's
every
just
week
lumping
he
it
doesn't
on.
get the clue.
The mound is just growing and growing and growing. Of hatred.
It's actually insanity. And saying he's like doing the same thing over, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
He literally thinks that people will like him because he opens his mouth. I mean, he's cussing people out at the games. Like, dude, you're making like 17, 20
Why
some
would you care?
gajillion
If I was
$1
at his level and I'm that good at a sport, I don't care what some 12-year-old says on Twitter.
And his burner accounts are just an absolute joke.
That is the most beta male thing I've ever seen in my entire life. He's a
unbelievable.
scrub and he ruined the NBA, and we will always hate him for that.
And this wasn't this week, but a few weeks ago, Max Kellerman decided to go on multiple shows, not just his First Take show, and say that Kevin Durant is kind of the opposite, is not a top 5 player. So our last award is Worst Kellerman Take of the Week, which we're going to continue to do.
Max Kellerman is a joke, first of all.
Max Kellerman sucks. He's the worst analyst in the world. But he literally said KD is not a top 5 player in the NBA. We might not like Kevin Durant. I don't think anyone does.
How can you deny his greatness?
How do you deny his greatness? He might be a top 5 player ever. In my opinion, he is. He's the 4th. He's behind Kobe, which is also, I think, is the top 5. But we can talk about that later. What? Like, how is he not a top 5 player? Who do you... James Harden?
Max Kellerman is a questionable human being, okay? Let's just start off with that. Some of his takes are beyond
Absolutely
outrageous. Some of the stuff he talks about on that show that I'm not even going to mention.
Whatever show that is that anybody can
are just
absurd.
They're absurd.
Actually absurd.
I don't know how you don't have Kevin Durant as a top 5 player. He's the
He's the second best player in the league,
He's
and
the
it's
one guy
not
that's
really
consistently
close.
beat LeBron, who is the greatest player of all time. How do you not have him in your top 5? He's 7 feet tall and can score from anywhere across half court. It's like a video game.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who do you have over him? Dude, Max Kellerman, come on the show.
Come on, please come on the show and tell us
with your
opinion.
scrubby face and your just idiotic opinions.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all good. I mean, remember, LeBron's a GOAT. MJ's a degenerate gambler. I mean, all the above. We already know everything we got. But
Michael Jordan played against John Stockton. LeBron James played against Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
Let's end on that note.
By the way, yeah. But stay tuned. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back next week on Wednesday on a podcast. Thank you.